Salutations, respected viewers. This is George from Ireland. Here I am in Chelsea, London. Behind me is the house where Bram Stoker lived, or Abraham Stoker, to give him his proper name. So he's born in Dublin in 1847, and he grew up there. He went to Dublin High School. Now, in Ireland and Great Britain, there are very few schools which have got high school in the name. If it was called high school, it might claim to be the most distinguished school in the city, like there's Glasgow High School, and so on. So he was a member of the Church of Ireland, so the minority Protestant denomination in Ireland. So he's from a well-to-do middle-class family. He went on to Trinity College Dublin, which was the most distinguished university in Ireland. Remember these days of mass tertiary education. In the 19th century it was very, very different. Barely 1% of the population went to university, and when he went up, there were no universities for women in Ireland. One in England had only just opened. So he was a bit older than Oscar Wilde and Edward Carson, though he did get to know them slightly because their social set, because Trinity College Dublin was not huge, and its recent graduates in Dublin were rather few in number, although Oscar Wilde, almost as soon as he graduated, went to Magdalen College, Oxford. But these well-got Irish people in London were not numerous either. So he joined the civil service, but he did spend some time in the civil service here in London. And really, he was just clock watching the civil service. That was just a day job. It was actually writing which inspired him. And he's a very well-travelled man as well, going around Eastern Europe. And then he finally decided to write this book, Dracula, A Tale of the Undead. Why undead? Because Dracula, well, he's not dead, but he's not living. So rather than call him non-living, we'll call him undead. So he took Vlad Tepes Dracul, and Dracula meaning son of a dragon in Romanian, who's a real 15th century Romanian historical figure who led Romania's fight back against the Ottoman Empire, and indeed notoriously had them impaled on stakes. Vlad the Impaler, as people sometimes call it. Son of a dragon because his father had been awarded the Order of the Dragon by, I can't think who it was. Was it the Austrian Emperor? Was it the King of Hungary? I might be mortally offending Romanians by getting my history wrong there. So anyway, there was also a condition whereby some people can't come out into the light because it just gives them terrible sunburn, even in a dim day like this. So he took the historical figure, combined them with the idea of being a vampire, with drinking human blood and things like that. This really irks Romanians when many people confuse the historical figure, Vlad Dracul, with the fictional character. Moreover, in the novel, Dracula is an ethnic Hungarian, not an ethnic Romanian. And if you read the novel, the Jonathan Harker, the narrator, Harker says talks about descendants of the Dacians. Dacians, we'd now call them Romanians, because remember, the ancient Roman province was called Dacia, okay? Ancient Roman province, and now it's Romania. Or the Romanians say Dacia, but in Romania today, Dacia is simply a make of cars. And saying, they're descended from the Emperor Trajan's soldiers. The Roman soldiers were here. And I can't remember what name he uses for the Germans. It's not the ordinary name, or Sekeles, things like that for the Hungarians. They're Magyars for the Hungarians. So Jonathan Harker is a young solicitor's clerk, and he's perhaps a semi-autobiographical figure for Bram Stoker. And some of the novel is set in Whitby, a northern English town, because Bram Stoker had relatives up there, went there, because remember, when Harker escapes from the castle, later Vlad Dracul has himself put in his native earth into a casket and shipped to Great Britain, and the ship is shipwrecked on the coast of Whitby, and only one deranged black dog runs off it. But little do they know that Vlad Dracul is there. Anyway, it's an epistolary novel. It's a genre which has really been lost these days, as often it's a series of letters and diary entries, things like that. So Bram Stoker, he published his novel shortly before the turn of the century, and it wasn't quite a publishing sensation at first. So he died in 1912. As you can see, he was quite well off, but he was not the multi-millionaire he would be today from it. It was only after his death, in the 1920s, they started to produce some silent films of that, and it was Bela Lugosi, a Hungarian-American actor who really made the role his own. So that's that. It's an absolutely scintillating and chilling tale. Read the novel, because although the prose is written in quite ordinary language, it's just sparkling, it's crystal clear, it's got pace. So I can't recommend it to you highly enough, even if you've been very satisfied with the film.